My earliest memories are fuzzy. Until I was about 4 years old, I couldn't see anything out of my left eye. I could still see things out of my right eye, but they grew fuzzier and fuzzier as time passed. I thought everyone experienced this. So imagine my surprise when I told my mother, and suddenly I found myself staring up at a doctor in an operating room, watching as the world I knew grew dark. I was born with a condition called ectopia lentis. The lenses in my eyes were dislocated and had to be removed. This condition is genetic, passed down from my mother to me and my 3 siblings. We all needed glasses and surgery to be able to see. But our insurance didn't cover the glasses. A routine prescription often meant thousands of dollars out of pocket just to do something a lot of people take for granted. In addition, lens implants don't last very long. Mine has stayed intact for 15 years, but next month, tomorrow, or even today, they could become dislocated again, and I wouldn't be able to see any of you. My experience with disability is certainly unique, but it shares similarities with countless other disabled people living in the United States. Today, I am going to talk about disability by first defining what it is, then discussing some of the problems disabled people are facing right now, and then discussing recent advancements and things able-bodied people can do to help. Even if you yourself are not disabled, there's a good chance you know someone who is. Understanding disability and how it affects us is incredibly important in our everyday lives. I have researched this topic extensively to better understand what disability is and how it affects people living in our society. First, I will define disability. Then I will discuss some of the problems disabled people are facing right now. And finally, I'll talk about recent advancements and things able-bodied people can do to help. So first, let us define what exactly disability is. Merriam-Webster's 2020 Dictionary and Thesaurus defines disabled as physically or mentally impaired. According to Conley and Nadler in 2022 for the Psychi Journal of Psychological Research, over 61 million Americans live with a disability. That's about 1 in 4 people. Disability is way more common than most people realize, and it affects our lives in incredibly profound ways. Now that I've defined for us what disability is, let us discuss some of the problems facing disabled people right now. First of all, disabled people are greatly underrepresented in both education and the workforce. According to Conley and Nadler, in 2022, only 8% of disabled people attend a 4-year university, compared to 29% of able-bodied people. In addition, Conley and Nadler state that in 2019, only 19.7% of the workforce was disabled, compared to 66.3% of able-bodied employees. There's a great discrepancy here that needs to be addressed. In addition, disabled people often face difficulties accessing medical care. According to the Targeted News Service in 2021, having a disability makes you 75% more likely to have unmet medical needs and 85% more likely to have unmet prescription medication needs. Many doctors are also simply ill-equipped to handle disabled patients. According to Iazoni et al. In 2022 for Health Affairs, in a survey of physicians nationwide, over 35% did not understand their responsibilities under the Americans with Disabilities Act, and over 68% felt they were at risk for lawsuits. Finally, disabled people are often denied life-saving medical care simply because they are disabled. According to Christina von Mossbergen in a 2022 article for the Arizona Republic, one child, Riley, needed life-saving open heart surgery with her parents under the impression that she would be eligible for a heart transplant if needed. They soon found she was ineligible because she had Down syndrome. It is terrifying to think that anybody could be denied life-saving medical care over something they have absolutely no control over. Now that we have discussed some of the problems facing disabled people right now, let us discuss some recent advancements and things able-bodied people can do to help. There have been many great advancements made to help disabled people in recent years. According to Christina von Wasbergen's 2022 article, over 30 states have passed legislation to help end organ transplant discrimination, with many more states introducing similar legislation. In addition, in 2019, Congress introduced the Ensuring Lasting Smiles Act, which will require insurance companies to help cover the diagnosis and treatment of people born with congenital anomalies and birth defects. This expands coverage to many people who simply didn't have it before. There have been many great advancements made in recent years to help disabled people, but there's still a long ways to go, and able-bodied people can help in an incredibly simple way. One of the easiest ways to help disabled people is through education. According to Conley and Nadler in 2022, individuals that are more educated and have experiences with disabled people are less likely to be prejudiced against them. It's as simple as going up to someone you know, saying, "Hey, how has your day been?" and getting to know them. Another way to help disabled people is through spreading awareness. According to Katie Reed in 2022 for Villanova University, an event hosted by Krista Bialka, an associate professor of special education, discussed disability, stigmatization, visibility, and biases, prompting attendees to reevaluate their views of disabled people along the way. Even if you yourself cannot organize a large event like this one, simply attending events about disability will help you learn how to better advocate for and support the disabled people in your lives, and it only takes a few moments of your time. Now that we've discussed some recent advancements and things able-bodied people can do to help, let's summarize what we've discussed today. First, I defined what disability is. Then I discussed some of the problems facing disabled people right now. And finally, I talked about recent advancements and things able-bodied people can do to help. Every day, I am incredibly grateful for the advancements in science that allow me to both see you and be on equal ground with my peers. My implants have allowed me to both see and succeed in the things that I work towards. I graduated in the top 10% of my class in my high school, and I'm doing well here at Missouri State University. Seeing these advancements in disability rights has made me so relieved, realizing that even if one day I wake up and the world is blurry again, I'll still have the support I need to get by. One of Missouri State University's public affairs pillars is cultural competence. It's the ability to reach out and understand people from different groups with different experiences. Having cultural competence is incredibly important, especially considering disabled people who are so often ignored in conversations that have profound impacts on us. In her essay, The Seeing See Little, Helen Keller once said, "Only the deaf appreciate hearing. Only the blind realize the manifold blessings that lie in sight." Particularly does this observation apply to those who have lost sight and hearing in adult life. It's the same old story of not being grateful for what we are given until we lose it. It's so easy to ignore these conversations about disability when they come up and think that they simply don't affect you, so you don't have to pay attention. However, supporting disabled people is incredibly important and ensures that if you ever develop a disability of your own, you too will be supported. There have been many great advancements made to help disabled people in recent years, but there's still a long ways to go, and you have a direct impact on what legislation and communities are doing. Support the disabled people in your lives and advocate for programs that help them. Listen to us and learn from our experiences. Support disabled people now so that later on, the world won't look so fuzzy to any of us.